What's the deal with what will happen now that Monken's gone and Bobo is leading the recruiting efforts again? Any big targets, any big names where this is just like, uh-oh, we got to watch out for that guy now?
No, I mean, listen, I don't think that there's going to be much of any change. And probably, if I'm being honest with you, and I wrote this on the board the other day, I think Georgia's just got better in the recruiting aspect of the game. I think Mike Bobo will do a better job. I don't know if he'll be a better offensive coordinator than Todd Monken. That's a lot to live up to. I think he will be a better recruiter than Todd Monken. And evaluations aside, I'm not talking about quarterback development. I'm not talking about the guys that he's looking at. I'm talking about the guys, getting guys in the door. And you can say what you want about the evaluations, and people are going to. I get it. And it's fair. The evaluations on some of these guys were poor. But I think that ultimately I said this on the board too, they weren't picking dudes off the scrap heap. It wasn't like that nobody wanted the dudes that Georgia got, right? They won heads-up battles for big-time guys. Now, those guys didn't always pan out, but they were pulling guys consistently. I think that that's what's important in this aspect. And so when I'm looking around at the guys out there, Ryan Puglisi has already come out. He sold Chad Simmons over the weekend. I've heard all the stuff on Monken. Doesn't matter to me. I want to go to Georgia. Bingo, bango. Done. I touched base with him. He spoke to me very briefly and just said, hey, look, I'm looking forward to working with Coach Bobo. Bingo. All right. Dylan Raiola. Familiarity there? A bit. I think he had a chance to meet with Mike Bobo through his travels into Athens. The big aspect for me that plays really well in Georgia's favor when you're talking about Dylan Raiola, you know who Dylan Raiola's mentor is in a lot of ways at quarterback is Matthew Stafford. And the guy who helped him become the #1 pick was Mike Bobo. So that's probably going to play pretty well too.
Gosh.
The third guy that Georgia's looking at quarterback right now that it feels is Jake Merklinger. Jake Merklinger is from Savannah, Georgia, an area where Mike Bobo has historically recruited well, and he's openly said he has a relationship already established with Bobo.
From the coastal plain, baby.
The 912, the Golden Isles.
From a pure recruiting standpoint, I don't think it changes at all, and I think it honestly helps you because Mike Bobo, we saw him out visiting kids with Kirby when there were guys off the road.
That's what I wanted to bring up.
Yeah.
Anytime someone tweets like on offense anyway, definitely all the quarterbacks, a lot of the offensive guys that get offers, when they tweet at Georgia and they've got a photo of someone from like 2004 in their recruiting picture where they announced they got an offer, they always mention Coach Bobo. And this was before Monken left. So that showed me just how active the guy's already been on the trail for Georgia. And that's, that continuity, that consistency, those relationships matter so much, and especially to Kirby.
There's something to be said for individuals who love the college game. Todd Monken's not one of those. Todd Monken loves ball, and he wants to coach ball and go home. There's something to be said for those who just cannot get enough of this college game. And Mike Bobo is one of those guys. He's cut from the same kind of cloth that Kirby is in that regard. Bobo had times in his career at Georgia where he could have made jumps to the NFL. I don't know if it was as a coordinator or as a quarterback's coach. Todd Monken didn't jump into the NFL world as a coordinator either, guys. He was a wide receivers coach. So, but I know he had opportunities, and the guy loves the college game. And a lot of coaches like Bobo, like Kirby Smart, like Nick Saban, they love the college game because they can get 5 first-round draft picks a year because that's the way it works for them. And I mean, listen, like Ruth said, Bobo had some years where he had some bad evaluations, but I'd also like to point to this. When could any of those evaluations worked out for him? 2 years, 2009, 2014, because otherwise Georgia had Matthew Stafford, David Green, DJ Shockley, and Aaron Murray hogging up 12 of Mike Bobo's 14 years at Georgia. So it's not really a whole lot of opportunity for a lot of other guys to do stuff. But I tell you what, Christian LeMay, Logan Gray, Zach Mettenberger, Bryce Ramsey, highly recruited. Now,
Bauta.
Bauta wasn't as highly recruited. And I think some people may have thought that he might be an athlete, play some defense. I don't know. That was a little bit of a disaster, but Bauta was a very good teammate and a locker room guy, whatever. Probably never deserved a scholarship. As far as like, being a quarterback as a scholarship, I'd like to have seen what he could have done otherwise. But a guy who did a really good job at Georgia of being a great teammate and being there, got Jacob Eason, right? Bobo got Jacob Eason's commitment. Now, the evaluations may have been bad. That's fine. But I think it shows your prowess as a recruiter when you go head-to-head with the best of the best for top quarterbacks, even if they don't pan out, but you're able to land them. Because that, to me, shows that you can be convincing and you can sell your vision as a coach. And I think that Bobo has shown that he can do that. Not to mention, instead of driving a John Deere lawn tractor, he's driving like a 600-horse Massey Ferguson now.
Yeah, and like I said, to me, not only is it a benefit offensively, all right, you're going to get those guys, but Mike Bobo is still one of the more respected names in South Georgia. You've got two guys on this staff right now, in Del McGee and Mike Bobo, who are absolutely lethal below the gnat line.
Dogs.
I mean, and I think that that's going to continue to be successful for Georgia. I really do. We talked about, what was it? Trent Thompson was a guy we mentioned. Ray Drew. Say what you want about those guys. Everybody in the country would have taken those guys.
They all wanted them.
Mike Bobo,
they all did.
Mike Bobo got those guys. He brought them in, man. I mean, so I think it's, from a recruiting standpoint, I think it's a total win for Georgia. I don't see it as anything other than that. Like I said, we'll see what the guy does on the field. We'll see if the evaluations get better. And we'll see if how the development plays out. But when it comes to getting dudes in the door, Mike Bobo is one of the better ones that Georgia's had in there. And I think that he'll be a worlds better than Todd Monken was at that, because Todd Monken did not relish that.
He didn't do it.
Right.
Well, yeah. He did it, but he didn't relish it.
Recruiting is like blocking. Recruiting is like blocking. If you really, really want to, you can do it.